Hey everybody, it's Missy, and I'm back with another using older supplies scrapbooking process video. And for this one, I pulled out a ton of my old My Mind's Eye stuff. And as you can see, I have a big mix of stuff from 2011, 2012. I have things from Follow Your Heart, The Sweetest Thing, Collectible, Lime Twist, Caroline. I've got stickers, I've got brads, I've got buttons, I've got paper, die cuts, and I wound up just putting all of this into one container, and it was all mixed together. You can see a lot of my papers there are whole, some of them are cut, and so I went through and picked a few that I was going to consider for my background. There's way too much stuff to pick from, but I tried to narrow it down, and I liked all of these. And I was trying to come up with a color scheme with some of these stickers. They're like cardstock stickers. And some of them I've used, some of them I have not. And I really like that big pink flower that looks kind of like a doily, and then that light melon orangey color. And I kind of wanted to go with that as a color scheme. I'm going to be scrapbooking that black and white picture of my daughter. She's just looking cute one day. And so I'm going to settle for this light gray with white polka dots as my background. I think this color will look pretty with some of these lighter pastel colors, and then I'm going to try to mix in some darker pinks and some yellows. And in my mind at this point I thought it was going to look pretty, and so I'm just kind of, a lot of this layout is me rummaging through all of this stuff because there's so many different color schemes, so many different die cuts, and I don't use all of this, but I just picked several things that I thought would look pretty together and started going with it. And that background paper is from Follow Your Heart, and I think most of this stuff is 4 or 5 years old, but it's still very pretty. And I like to challenge myself to take this older stuff and try to make it somewhat new again to fit my style now. So I'm going to jazz up my background like I usually do, and this is white gesso, and I'm just going to smudge it around with a card and my finger just to create some white on the background and to get my cardstock, or not my cardstock, my pattern paper ready to go. Do you remember these types of papers that were shaped around the edges? Well, I still have several of those, and I'm going to try to incorporate some of that purple color. And I'm going to mix and match with some of that light orangey sherbet color. That's a light orangey and white striped paper that I'm pulling from this 6x6 pad. Then from The Sweetest Thing, I'm going to try to come in with some pink. And I'm going to work in a lot of these doily slash floral looking shapes. So I've got purple, pink, light orange, and then I'm going to come in with some yellow at some point. And right now I'm just kind of working with layers behind my picture. This is just a mix of pattern paper. Some of it is 12x12. Some of it is from the 6x6 pads. So I kind of know what I'm going to do for my color scheme. I'm going to add in a little bit of tissue paper here. I'm going to add in some behind my picture like I do a lot, but I'm also going to add in a piece behind the layers. And just treat it as another layer. So I pulled out several of my Shimmers products in coordinating colors here, and I'm just going to do what I like to do best, which is the packaging technique. And I'm going to mix and match. I've got some coral shades here, or I guess more towards that light orangey peachy color. I've got some spritz, some vibes. This is an Inklings, or maybe that's a Creamies. Didn't write down all of the names of these Shimmers products. This is Razzle Dazzle Berry, and it's that purplish pink color. And I'm just trying to get all of those colors on my background that I've got in the papers behind my picture. And doing the mixed media pages, you know, it does add time to your layouts, but for me, the enjoyment of this comes from the process. So sometimes it doesn't matter to me how long it takes me to make the page, because the act of putting it together is what I love the most. So, you know, this probably took me an entire day, hit or miss. There you can see some of the shimmer from some of those products. Probably took me a day, not one solid day, but in spurts, to make this. And I'm okay with that because I like taking my time and making sure it's something that I really love. Because if I don't like it, I want to change it, you know. And I know a lot of people just say, just go with it, stick it down and be done with it. You've got the page done and move on. But I don't know, that's not my thing. I like to take my time and I like to play with it. If I don't like it, I'm going to change it. And it's just the process that's relaxing and fun, and that's what I like the most. So I kind of like taking my time, and that's why my videos, I try not to make my videos over 15 minutes because I feel like that's long enough. So that's why I speed these up. And I do have to cut out a lot because a lot of my process is just doing right here, just thinking and trying this, taking it away, adding this, taking it away. And it seems repetitive over time. And so I don't want to make you sit and watch me scrapbook for that long. So that's why I do cut a lot out. But right now I'm just kind of going through all of these embellishments. That's some chipboard pieces. I've got two pieces of chipboard, the dark pink and the yellow on the left, mixed in with some of the die cuts and some of the cardstock stickers. So that's a sticker, and I'm trying to get some of the sticky off the back because I don't want to stick it down just yet. So that's why I was sticking it onto my hand on and off. So my idea for this is just to have a lot of pretty paint in the background. Now this one was tricky because there's a lot of little doily holes that I had to poke out, so I did that off camera. But I want a bunch of like floral-y die cut slash doily type shapes coming from behind the picture. And this is actually from a round circle sticker that I guess I used a long time ago. But I'm going to cut around the edges of the circle and just use this random purple circle, mainly because it's purple. And it's the purple color that I've got in the paper behind the picture, and I just wanted to touch more of that purple in there. And I'm liking how this is looking. I love all the layers. I love how everything's just kind of peeking out from behind the picture, and you can still see all of that paint. And these are just stickers. I'm gonna add in some more of that dark pink color. I feel like I need some on the left since I have some on the right. So I don't have anything else right now that's that pink color. So I just randomly cut a flower from pattern paper, and now I've kind of got it even on both sides. So I'm going to come in with some thread. This is a light peachy sherbet-y color, matches that light orange. I know I keep calling that color a bunch of different names, but light orange, sherbet, peachy, corally, you know what color I'm talking about, I hope. So I had some yellow thread on the left, and I like how this is looking, so I'm going to go ahead and add some glue so none of that moves. And I like how the black and white picture's popping against all of these light colors. So I'm going to add another pop of pink underneath that yellow chipboard sticker. And I think it's just something like perfect just the way you are, something like that. So now I need to create something down in this lower right hand corner, and I'm going to make my own little cluster here. And this is the same paper that I cut the big flower out of, except it's from the 6x6 paper pad. And I'm going to try to bring all the colors that I've got in the cluster behind the photo down here to the right, but in a smaller increment. So just play around with things. I really wanted to use that speech bubble. I think it's so cute and I love the color, but it did not work anywhere. It's too big, so I don't wind up using that. Brads, good old-fashioned brads. I do wind up using 2 of those. So there's that shaped paper again. I'm going to echo that since I've already used it. I'm going to fussy, excuse me, fussy cut this little piece out. And I thought I would take advantage of that shaped edge because it looks kind of cool. And just sort of build a cute little cluster. And this is something that you could do with papers, stickers. I'm just trying to get a little bit of all those colors down there. It was fun to go through all of this old stuff and mix and match. I totally forgot that I had kept all of this old My Mind's Eye stuff until I went over to my shelf that I don't go over to that often, and just sort of started rummaging through everything, and lo and behold, look what I found, more hoarded stuff. So I thought, yes, pull all that out, spread it out on your desk, and make something out of it. And I really like how this turned out. So I'm just gonna keep embellishing with stickers, trying to make sure all those colors are kind of spread evenly around everything. And I did not use my Cameo for this. I tried to challenge myself to use just the products from the collections. Now, I decided that that cluster needed some paint behind it, so I just kind of started going with the shimmers and decided it did not look as well as it does with the gesso. So I scratched that idea and came back in with the gesso. You can see the difference there of just adding it to the paper versus using the gesso first. The color looks richer, it blends out some of the background, and it just, I don't know. I mean, you know, there are no rules. You don't have to use the gesso. I just think it adds, it helps the color stay truer, and it blends a little bit better, and it doesn't compete with the shapes on the background. Like, you can't really see the dots that well where the paint is, and I like that because it makes the paint sort of stand out, but yet around the edges you can still see the circles because the gesso sort of fades out, if that makes any sense. Alright, so my cluster is pretty much done. I'm going to add some yellow thread, and that's not a true bright yellow, it's more of a goldeny yellow, I guess you could say. It matches the yellow in this My Mind's Eye stuff. And I get all my thread from Walmart. They're like $2.27, I think, a spool. And I just collect them over time. Every time I go to Walmart, I'll get one or two different colors. So now this is where I stray away from My Mind's Eye. I grab this random Carpe Diem Simple Stories planner sticker sheet and just use a couple of these little circles because they match, and just tuck them in here and there. I decided since I have thread everywhere else, I needed some thread at the top coming out, so I added some dark pink thread. And now these are some Embellishing alpha stickers. And I got these a few years ago, back when I was on the My Scraps and More design team. And I keep them in a little cubby, or not a cubby, but a little bucket on my desk. And they match almost everything because they're white. So I'm just going to make her name my title because I've got several different little sentiments. I added some of those dark pink stickers that says practically perfect. And then the yellow one at the bottom says be the best you can be. Sweet, I love you. Just random cute little sayings. So I just thought I would add her name, and I wanted to keep the title small since there really wasn't a lot of room to add a big giant title. So you know, not all layouts have to have super creative titles. This was just a cute picture of her, and when all else fails, just use the person's name that's in the photo. That's a little chipboard butterfly, and then I'm going to come in with some sequins that I've had in my stash for quite a while. I believe the store I got these from online is no longer in business, and I thought I would try something different for my journaling. I'm using a metallic silver pen. It's hard to see from here, but you can see it better in person. And then I did add the date stamp and some silver splatters around the page. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun doing something different with my Mind's Eye stuff. Goodness, what a tongue twister. Say that 3 times fast. I did add some stitching that you can see there. I forgot to mention that earlier. And you can see all the little sequins that I added. But this was really fun to do. I definitely still have a lot of stash left over from this My Mind's Eye stack of stuff. So I definitely want to use it some more. So let me know if you have any questions about any of this or any of these products. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.